Game 2 to keep this momentum going and seal the deal?
It's extreme, and I'm going to tell everybody something that people aren't discussing that actually is the only issue that I have with my pick. Kawhi Leonard don't even look healthy.
No, doesn't.
Kawhi Leonard is out there gimpy. He's out there limping.
Don't have his legs.
He don't have his legs. A couple of times when he went to the basket, he went in there weak. Did you see how he went in there on Greek Freak and just banged on him?
Yep.
How he was banging on Joel Embiid? He didn't have that spring yesterday.
Well, I got to admit to you, he did that even when he was limping. I mean, I was at the game, and I mean, when he rose up like that, it's like, listen, limping, he still did that, but he clearly does not look healthy.
But what a team has is guys when your star doesn't have it that night, when he needs a game or two, when his supporting cast picks him up. They did it. Siakam answered the bell.
And he also did something that I've never seen him do. I've been watching him play for a long time. We had the same college coach. He was actually holding his shorts during possessions while the other four guys were bringing the offense.
Question, because this is strange to me. I had to cover the Eastern Conference Finals for us. I'm watching Kawhi Leonard, and he was gimpy during that series. He actually looked worse last night after 5 days rest than he did in Game 7.
The Raptors played like a team that they knew that their best player was hobbled, and they all knew that they had to pick up the intensity, the scoring, and play like a desperate basketball team. So to your question, I believe the Raptors are going to win Game 2 because the Golden State Warriors are the road team. I think that they're hobbled, and I think the Toronto Raptors are just deeper, more physical. And you ready for this? They're just better. The Raptors are better.
But I'm asking you this question. The reason I asked you that question is because I need an explanation as to how somebody could look better in Game 7 and then 5 days later. I mean, it's not like you got injured in Game 7. You got injured. Oh, sorry, Game 6. I apologize. Game 6. It's not like you got injured in Game 3. So you hobbled your way through Games 3, 4, 5, and 6. You close out in Game 6 Saturday night, and you actually look worse after 5 days rest than you did in Game 6.
I hate to say it, and that's why I brought this point up. What ends up happening, Stephen A., is you go from the period of being hurt, where you feel like you can play through the pain, to getting closer to being injured. Yeah. And that's what I saw yesterday. And this period of time between Games 1 or 2, I guarantee you he's going to be getting a lot of treatment. I guarantee you they're going to try to make sure that he's at his optimum peak because they need Game 2. If they're able to secure Game 2, KD's going to come back during this series. But the problem is when he does, it's going to be too late. He'll come back like Game 4. He'll come back like Game 5. But the Raptors are already going to have a stranglehold on the series.
If KD comes back for too many games, they have too much firepower for anyone, I think. But Kawhi is the type of dude, just because he's quiet, don't get it bent. He takes the challenge. I was saying Kawhi Freak is going to see who the best player in the game is. And I thought the Greek Freak would be too much for him. He's too big. He's a bad matchup, physical, young, springy, the whole thing. And Kawhi thought, you saw Kawhi going, oh, that's the guy?
But that's what you're pointing to. You know what I'm pointing to? I'm pointing to Steve Kerr from opening tap. He was screaming at his guys, run, run, run. And I was like, yeah, they're bigger, so I understand. But it's almost like he said, this man, we got to run Kawhi.
Right.
But then I remember what Doc Rivers said to me. When Doc Rivers said on national television last week, he said, look, man, you got a situation where you might, Magic said it, you might want to let Kawhi go off to keep everybody else cold.
But here's the thing about this is what I'm saying about Kawhi.
You might want to do that.
His shot wasn't falling because that's how I really saw the legs affecting him. The free throw shooting, the shot wasn't falling. He didn't.
But they were also doubling getting the ball out of his hands.
Even though that's true, but even though Kawhi shoots line drive, he gets the shooter's bounce a lot because without the legs, you're not going to get that. That's what happened. But I'll say this: they need to win Game 2 at home. Just because they won Game 1, it's got nothing to do with momentum. Yeah. It has to do with defending home court. It is.
Jalen, I want to come.
Golden State's going to have to win a road game to win the series. It is too early in the series to give up home court.
Jalen, I want to come to you with my strategy. If the Warriors going to win Game 2, I believe you stay home. You don't double nobody. You let Kawhi. Listen to this. Listen to this. You guard Kawhi one-on-one. Let him eat you alive. Because guess what? With those secondary options, if you keep them cold, you don't let them get into a rhythm because they're busy. They get to a point where they're spectating, watching Kawhi Leonard eat somebody alive. That might be your best chance. What do you think about that?
That's a great theory, except it's a day late and $1 short.
Okay.
You should have did that in Game 1.
Okay.
He came out, he was hobbled. They blitzed him. They double teamed him. They triple teamed him.
Right.
And he actively just gave up the ball and allowed people to go to work.
Right.
In game 2, if you stay home, now all of a sudden the great player gets you the game that you need that's really important on your home floor, and he erupts for 40 points, and you go up
But I'm saying somebody like Magic and Doc was making the case that if he explodes, you still got a better shot at beating them because the supporting cast. That's what they're saying.
That's my point. So if you do that in game 1, now we're sitting here saying Kawhi had 45 and the Raptors won and nobody else did anything. But now in game 2, those guys are already confident.
But what if you win game 2 is what I'm saying. What if you win game 2 by letting Kawhi explode but shutting everybody else out? What if you win that game that way? Golden State is still in a great position because it's 1-1. Going back to the Oracle.
I think it worked out perfectly for the Toronto Raptors.
Okay.
I think in game 1, the way they were blitzing, the way they were trapping, the way they were basically leaving Marc Gasol open in the middle of the floor to eat. He had a couple of times he could have laid the ball up.
That's right.
He didn't even realize how open he was.
And open from 3, too, wide open.
And let's say all this. Let's say one other thing too. Pascal Siakam was the best player on the court
last night. That's right.
He was the best player. He got steals, he got blocks, he got dunks, he made threes, he got it in transition.
I think the big picture reason why that's not going to work with Kawhi is the reason he's the best player in the world. LeBron got to the place Kawhi got to. Wasn't there at first. Steph's not there. Harden is far from it. If you dare Kawhi to beat you, fate of the universe on the line, 4th quarter, clock ticking down, Kawhi will beat you. That he doesn't go away. In those big moments, Kawhi is at his best.
But that's not daring him.
If you dare that dude to beat you, he will do it.
That's not daring him to beat you. Like, for example, there's a reason why Phil Jackson asked MJ to defer and assist.